Stop, your sparkle isn't gone. The wrong haircut is hiding it. If you've sat through salon promises and cycled through pricey bottles only to see hair that falls flat, feels heavy, or reads older than you are not alone. For so many women in their 50s and 60s, the deepest sting isn't just thinner, grayer, or springier strands. It's that quiet sense of invisibility, as if the mirror forgot your fire. The fix isn't a miracle serum, it's smarter shape. The right cut works with today's texture to lift the face, soften edges, and put the light back in your eyes without a drastic overhaul. Today on Golden After 60, I'm breaking down 14 age-defying cuts that deliver real lift at the crown, movement through the mid-lengths, and face framing that makes you look rested, not done. Pour your tea and settle in. If one idea gives you an aha, stay for the full guide, and only if it helps. Tap subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss next week's easy, confidence-raising edit. Secret number 1, why your haircut matters. Beyond the mirror. Hair changes after 60 are real. Strands grow finer and more fragile, gray often arrives drier and springier, and growth cycles shorten. Roughly 4 in 10 women notice visible thinning by 50, and in the US about 30 million women live with female pattern hair loss, which often shows up first as a widening part and a smaller ponytail. That's why your cut matters more than ever. As midface volume and jawline definition subtly diminish with age, a thoughtful shape can lift the eye, soften angles, and restore balance. No drastic chop required. The trap is sameness. One-length cuts collapse on fine or wiry textures, and long, shapeless hair drags features south. Ask for structure that works with today's texture. Cheekbone skimming layers to open the face, crown-friendly interior layers for airy height, and micro-graduation at the nape to define the neck. Keep perimeters soft but intentional so ends read polished, not wispy. If your gray expands in humidity, request gentle debulking through the midshaft to calm bulk without killing movement. If you heat style, lighter layers allow faster drying and kinder temperatures, which protects fragile cuticles and keeps shine. I learned this firsthand at 63. My once sleek, blunt lob had started to look heavy and severe. We reshaped into a collarbone bob with interior lift and soft face framing. The crown breathed, my jawline looked crisper, and my makeup suddenly worked harder. A client of mine, Mary, told a similar story after 30 years of a straight, blunt style. Light layers and a softened baseline made her say she felt 10 years lighter, inside and out. Use this quick self-audit before your next appointment. Is your part wider than last year? Does your crown fall flat by noon even with mousse? When you gently lift the hair at your temples in the mirror, do your eyes look more open? Would cheekbone-level layers balance your jaw, or would a collarbone cut with internal lift feel more modern? Bring clear answers and recent photos of your hair on a good day and a real day, so your stylist can calibrate weight and elevation precisely. Secret number 2, the soft pixie. Confidence in every strand. The soft pixie is a precision frame, not a buzz cut. Feathered layers through the top, a side-swept fringe that opens the eyes, and gentle lift at the crown so volume sits high instead of pooling at the ends. By removing weight that drags fine or aging hair flat, the shape creates believable fullness and lets gray or silver read glossy rather than frizzy. A tapered, not shaved nape lengthens the neck. Soft edges keep the finish polished, and light interior debulking through the midshaft preserves movement without the poof. It's low maintenance because there's less hair to fight, and the geometry does most of the styling for you. For my own mirror at 64, I made the shift after years in a chin-length bob that looked dense at the hem and limp at the crown. We left extra length on top for airiness, refined the sides to skim my cheekbones, and cleaned up the nape. My blow-dry time was cut in half, My crown stayed buoyant past lunch, and friends asked if I'd changed my skincare. I hadn't, only the cut. Linda, a retired teacher, resisted for years until her granddaughter nudged her. The day we tailored a soft pixie to her natural wave, she said, "My hair finally matches my energy," and her mornings shrank to a 5-minute routine. Style it with a small dollop of lightweight mousse at the roots, a directional blow-dry from crown forward to build lift, and a diagonal sweep of the fringe to soften vertical lines between the brows. If humidity expands your silver, ask your stylist for subtle debulking through the mid-shaft. If your crown collapses by noon, place interior layers just forward of the apex and shift the part slightly off-center for instant height. Glasses wearers usually look brightest when the fringe just kisses the top of the frame. If your frames are bold, keep the fringe a touch shorter so the eyes stay the focus. Avoid heavy oils near the roots. A pea of cream on day 2 revives shine without collapse. Before you book, do a quick mirror audit. Do your eyes look brighter when you pinch lift the crown? Would a slightly longer top feel more balanced, or do tighter sides better define your jaw? Does your fringe work with your frames or fight them? Bring one good hair photo and one real-life photo so your stylist can calibrate density removal and perimeter strength. Next, we'll map fringe length and volume zones to your face shape and eyewear so your pixie feels custom, not cookie cutter. Secret number 3, the soft layered bob, universal flattery. The soft layered bob is the quiet reset, chin to collarbone with airy, front-focused layers that move, lift, and never harden into a helmet. Lightening the perimeter and adding interior shape creates bounce at the crown and softness at the jaw, so the eye goes to your eyes and cheekbones instead of pooling at the ends. It's especially flattering if your ponytail feels smaller or your part looks wider under bright light. By midlife, roughly 4 in 10 women notice visible thinning, so fullness needs to read intentional, not forced. Gray that feels drier or springier also behaves better in this cut because weight is distributed through the midshaft, preventing side poof and crown collapse. For my own mirror at 65, I retired a safe, one-length bob that sat like a block. We shifted to a collarbone bob with invisible crown layers and a soft curtain fringe that grazed my cheekbones. My neck looked longer, my jawline gentler, and my blow-dry time dropped because the cut finally cooperated with my texture. Joanne, 68, made the same switch from a one-length bob to a softly layered version with curtain bangs, and her friends kept asking if she'd lost weight or just come back from vacation. Nothing drastic, just smarter geometry. Bring this brief to your stylist. Soft face framing to open the eyes, micro-graduation at the nape to lengthen the neck, and crown-friendly interior layers calibrated to your density so they hold air without frizz. Keep edges soft, not wispy, so ends look polished as the cut grows out. If humidity expands your silver, request subtle debulking through the midshaft. If your hair collapses by noon, concentrate lift just forward of the apex and shift your part slightly off-center for instant height. Styling should stay light and directional. A small dollop of root mousse, a controlled blow-dry with the nozzle parallel to the hair, never blasting from underneath, and a wide barrel bend through the mid-lengths, leaving the last inch looser so it never looks set. Quick audience check-in. When you lift the crown with 2 fingers, do your eyes look brighter? Would a touch more front length visually slim your neck, or does a true chin line sharpen your cheekbones? If you wear glasses, should the fringe kiss the top of the frame or clear it entirely? Do photos show a heavy horizontal where your cut meets the jaw? Next, we'll fine-tune fringe length and volume zones by face shape. Or, if you want more edge, step into the textured French bob for Parisian polish without the fuss. Secret number 4. The textured French bob. Chic with an edge. The textured French bob is jaw-grazing to just below the jaw, cut with a crisp outline, airy internal layers, and a lived-in finish that looks polished without feeling set. By taking excess length off the ends and introducing light texture through the mid-shaft, weight shifts upward. The crown lifts, the cheeks gain movement, and the eye goes to your eyes and bone structure, not the hem of the haircut. It's a smart choice for fine, thinning, or gently wavy hair because the perimeter stays substantial while the interior breathes, preventing the helmet effect. Silver and gray thrive here as well. A clean outline showcases dimension, while soft texture keeps wiry strands from puffing out at the sides. For my own mirror at 66, I traded a safe, one-length bob that sat like a block for a French bob with a precise baseline, micro-graduation at the nape to lengthen the neck, and cheekbone skimming curtain fringe. The midday crown collapse disappeared, my neck read longer, and in photos my face looked fresher without extra makeup. That's the quiet magic of better geometry. The cut does the lifting, not your products. If you wear glasses, a whisper of fringe that kisses the top of the frame brightens the eyes. With bold frames, keep the fringe a touch shorter so the eyes remain the focus. Prefer a hint of drama? Leave the front a shade longer to visually slim the jaw. Want cheekbones to pop? Cut to a true jaw length. Here's how to brief your stylist. Ask for a crisp perimeter softened with point cutting, never wispy, airy interior texture placed primarily through the midshaft, and lift position just forward of the crown. If humidity expands your silver, request subtle debulking through the midshaft so the shape stays sleek. If your hair deflates by noon, concentrate interior layers over the crown and shift the part slightly off-center for instant height. Keep oils minimal at the roots. At home, work a palmful of lightweight mousse at the roots. Blow dry with the nozzle parallel to the hair, avoid blasting from underneath, then mist a texturizing spray through mid-lengths. Wavy textures love a diffuser on low airflow. Let the final inch air dry so ends look intentional, not frayed. Day 2. Revive with a water mist and a pea of light cream pressed into the mid-lengths. Your quick audit. Do your eyes look brighter when you pinch lift the crown? Do you need a fringe that clears your frames or just skims them? Would a slightly longer front feel slimming, or does a true jaw line sharpen your cheekbones? Smooth handoff to what's next. We'll calibrate fringe length and volume zones by face shape, so this bob stays buoyant from morning to evening. Secret number 5. Shoulder length with layers. Youthful versatility. Shoulder length with layers is the most forgiving middle ground, long enough to tuck, tie, or wave, yet light enough to move with you. The silhouette hinges on face-framing layers that nudge the eye upward to your eyes and cheekbones, a softly broken perimeter that avoids the heavy curtain at the ends, and optional curtain bangs to veil a thinning hairline or soften forehead lines without the upkeep of blunt fringe. It's flattering because it releases weight right where fine or aging hair tends to collapse, so volume lives at the crown and through the mid-lengths rather than pooling at the bottom. The biology backs it up. By midlife, as many as half of women notice visible thinning, and roughly 30 million women in the U.S. live with hereditary hair loss. The shoulder length, layered blueprint disguises see-through ends and keeps the shape buoyant instead of flat. For my own mirror at 65, I finally let go of a safe, straight bob that read dense at the jaw and limp at the crown. We cut to the shoulders, added cheekbone skimming layers and a soft curtain fringe, and cleaned up the nape with micro-graduation. My neck looked longer, the lower face lighter in photos, and my blow-dry time dropped because the cut stopped fighting my texture. Sarah, 64, had worn the same baseline for 20 years. With gentle face framing and airy fringe, she said, "I feel like myself again, just fresher." If your gray feels drier or springier than it used to, that's normal. Distributing weight through the midshaft helps silver flex instead of puff while keeping the edges substantial enough to read polished, not wispy. Here's how to brief your stylist like a pro. Ask for front-focused layers calibrated to your density, interior lift placed just forward of the crown, and a soft, not feathery, perimeter so the cut grows out cleanly. If humidity expands your silver, request subtle debulking through the midshaft. If your crown deflates by noon, shift the part slightly off-center and concentrate lift high and a touch forward of the apex. At home, keep it light and directional. A small dollop of root mousse, a controlled blow-dry with the nozzle parallel to the hair, and a wide barrel bend through the mid-lengths, leaving the last inch looser so it never looks set. A quick self-check. Should your fringe kiss the top of your glasses or clear it? When you lift the crown with 2 fingers, do your eyes look brighter? Would a whisper more length toward the front visually slim your neck? We'll refine this into a modern lob with face-framing layers for an elegant, intentional finish. Secret number 6. The lob with face-framing layers. Modern elegance. A lob with face-framing layers is the modern middle ground, long enough to feel feminine, short enough to look deliberate. Sitting at or just above the shoulders, it's endlessly adaptable. Sleek for polish, soft waves for ease, tucked behind one ear with glasses for instant chic. The real magic lies around the face. Shorter pieces at the high cheekbone lift the gaze line, soften a strong jaw, and create subtle height so volume sits near the crown instead of pooling at the ends. By lightening the hem and distributing weight through the midshaft, the hair moves instead of dragging down, which is especially helpful if your ponytail feels smaller or your part looks wider under bright light. From my own mirror at 66, I left a safe, shoulder sweep for a true lob with cheekbone layers and a gently sloped perimeter. My neck read longer, my lower face looked lighter in photos, and styling time dropped because the shape finally cooperated with my texture. Silver behaved better, too. The interior lift gave it buoyancy, while a substantial edge kept the finish polished rather than wispy. Many of my clients choose this when they want change without going short. The reaction isn't new haircut, it's you look rested. Here's how to brief your stylist like a pro. Ask for face framing that starts near the outer iris and melts into the rest of the cut. Interior lift placed just forward of the crown so height reads natural. And a soft, not feathery, perimeter so the lob grows out cleanly. If humidity expands your hair, request subtle debulking through the midshaft. If your crown collapses by noon, shift the part slightly off-center and concentrate lift a touch forward of the apex. Keep the backline tidy with micro-graduation at the nape, so the neck looks longer without exposing too much. At home, keep it light and directional. A small dollop of root mousse, a controlled blow-dry with the nozzle parallel to the hair, never blasting from underneath, then a wide barrel bend through the mid-lengths while leaving the last inch looser so it never looks set. Day 2, revive with a water mist and a pea of lightweight cream pressed into the mid-lengths. Now, your quick mirror audit. Should your face frame kiss the top of your glasses or clear it? Would a slightly longer front visually slim the jaw, or do you prefer an even baseline for structure? When you pinch lift the crown with 2 fingers, do your eyes look brighter? Bring one good day and one real day photo, and you'll leave the chair with a lob that looks intentional, modern, and unmistakably you. Secret number 7. The French-inspired blunt bob, timeless and bold. The French-inspired blunt bob delivers clarity and lift in one move. A clean, straight edge that sits at the jaw or a touch above, softened just enough with micro-texture so it never feels severe. The geometry puts the focus where you want it, eyes, lips, cheekbones, by keeping weight at the perimeter and avoiding the fluff that can happen with overlayering. It's especially effective if your ends look see-through or your crown tends to collapse by noon. A solid line disguises thinning at the hem, while a subtle internal bevel adds movement without breaking the outline. Silver and blended gray look particularly chic here because the firm edge showcases dimension and sheen, while a whisper of surface texture keeps wiry strands from puffing at the sides. From my own mirror at 66, I moved from a layered bob that felt busy to a jaw-skimming blunt with a slightly softened edge and a micro-graduated nape. My jaw looked cleaner, my neck longer, and my makeup suddenly looked more intentional, like the haircut framed the whole face for me. Helen, 70, had the same experience. After years of hiding behind length, she chose a true blunt at the jaw and told me, "For the first time in years, people notice my eyes and lips instead of my hair." That's the quiet power of a precise perimeter. Here's how to brief the chair like a pro. Ask for a true blunt baseline tailored to your jaw height, with micro-texturizing only in the last half-inch so the edge reads refined, not choppy. Keep the nape slightly graduated to lengthen the neck, and, if your hair is dense, request minimal debulking at the midshaft, just enough to release stiffness without shattering the line. If humidity makes your silver expand, target debulking behind the ears and through the lower third. If your crown deflates, shift your part a fingertip off-center and place the highest elevation just forward of the apex. Styling stays straightforward and polished. Work a small amount of lightweight mousse at the roots. Blow dry with the nozzle parallel to the hair, never blasting from underneath. Then add a soft bend through the mid-lengths with a wide barrel iron or a pair of Velcro rollers at the crown while you do makeup. Tuck one side behind the ear for a distinctly French finish. Plan trims every 6 to 8 weeks. Hair averages about ½ inch a month, so the edge stays crisp. If you prefer to keep a little softness around the face, a light curtain fringe that kisses the top of your frames brightens the eyes. With bold glasses, keep the fringe shorter so the focus stays on your gaze. Smooth handoff next. If you want to keep more length while preserving that clean, lifted feel, a lob with face framing layers gives the same intention with extra styling options. Secret number 8. Long layers with curtain bangs. Shape and shine. Long hair absolutely works after 60 when you engineer movement. Long, blended layers release weight from the lower third so length reads fluid instead of dragging your features down. Curtain bangs do the face framing heavy lifting. They pull the eye to your pupils and cheekbones, soften horizontal lines on the forehead, and discreetly veil a thinning hairline. If your ends look see-through or your crown collapses by noon, shifting volume to the mid-lengths and placing lift just forward of the crown keeps the silhouette buoyant while the perimeter stays substantial and polished, not wispy. For context, hair grows about ½ inch a month, so you can fine-tune fringe length every 6-8 weeks without sacrificing overall length. And if your ponytail feels smaller, you're in good company. Roughly 30 million American women live with hereditary thinning, which is why strategic layering beats bulk at the hem. For my own mirror at 66, I kept my length but asked for face framing that starts at high cheekbone and melts back, plus a soft, beveled curtain fringe. My jawline looked lighter in photos, the crown stayed lifted, and my routine got easier because the cut did the work. Lisa, 66, had always avoided bangs for fear they'd date her. With long layers and a gentle center split, her hair looked glossier, springier, and more playful within one appointment. The grace note with curtain bangs is the grow out. They are designed to lengthen elegantly, so you never hit that awkward phase. Brief your stylist like a pro. Request long, blended layers that remove bulk from the lower third. Face framing that begins around outer iris height and tapers past the jaw. A curtain fringe calibrated to your brow to lash distance, and interior lift placed a fingertip forward of the crown. If humidity makes your silver expand, ask for subtle debulking through the midshaft. If your crown deflates, shift the part slightly off-center and keep the strongest lift just ahead of the apex. At home, keep it light and directional. A small dollop of root mousse, a controlled blow-dry with the nozzle parallel to the hair, and a wide barrel bend through the mid-lengths, leaving the last inch looser so it never looks set. Quick self-audit. Should your fringe kiss the top of your glasses or clear it? When you pinch lift the crown, do your eyes look brighter? Would a slightly longer front visually slim your jaw, or does an even baseline suit you better? Smooth segue next. We'll place highlights and lowlights to echo that lift without sacrificing depth. Secret number 9. The layered collarbone cut. Effortless elegance. A collarbone-length cut with soft, blended layers hits the sweet spot, long enough for a bend or a tuck, short enough to look deliberate and light. The line sits just where the eye travels up and off the shoulders, which brightens the face before you've lifted a brush. Layers do the real work here. By distributing weight through the midshaft and placing subtle interior lift a fingertip forward of the crown, fullness reads intentional at the top and through the sides, not puffy or collapsed at the hem. If your ponytail feels smaller or your part looks wider under bright light, you're in good company. Millions of women see some midlife thinning, and this silhouette keeps the perimeter substantial so ends don't go see-through. Hair grows about ½ inch a month, so trims every 8–10 weeks maintain the line while giving you room to fine-tune layer length. From my own mirror at 67, I moved from a shoulder sweep that fell flat by noon to a true collarbone cut with invisible crown layers and a face frame starting at the outer iris. My neck looked longer, my lower face lighter in photos, and my silver behaved. Distributing weight through the mid-lengths let it flex instead of ballooning at the sides. Gloria, 72, had the same shift. Once we softened her one-length bob into a collarbone shape, the light caught every ribbon of her gray and the color finally looked three-dimensional. Here's how to brief the chair. Ask for soft, front-focused layers that open the eyes, interior lift placed just forward of the crown so height reads natural, micro-graduation at the nape for a longer-looking neck, and a substantial, not wispy, perimeter so the cut grows out clean. If humidity makes your silver expand, request subtle debulking through the midshaft. If your crown deflates by midday, move the part slightly off-center and concentrate elevation just ahead of the apex. At home, keep it light and directional. A small dollop of root mousse, a controlled blow-dry with the nozzle parallel to the hair, never blasting from underneath, and a wide barrel bend through the mid-lengths, leaving the last inch looser so it never looks set. Day 2, revive with a water mist and a pea of lightweight cream pressed into the middle. Your quick mirror audit. Would a whisper more length toward the front visually slim the jaw, or does an even baseline suit your frames? When you pinch lift the crown with 2 fingers, do your eyes look brighter? Do curtain-soft pieces that kiss the top of your glasses open your gaze, or should they clear entirely? Next up, we'll place soft highlights and lowlights to echo that lift without sacrificing depth. Secret number 10. Curtain bangs, the ultimate face framer. Curtain bangs are the soft arc that parts in the center or just off-center and sweeps to the cheekbones, opening the eyes, softening the forehead, and quietly veiling a thinning hairline. They're forgiving because they're beveled, not blunt. The edges taper into your layers, so the grow-out is graceful and never boxy. On any length, from long layers to a lob, they redirect attention upward and create a subtle lift across the midface. Worried about maintenance? A well-cut curtain fringe behaves like built-in styling. It frames for you, even on no-time mornings. Here's how to brief the chair like a pro. Placement first. Start the split at mid-pupil if you want maximum openness, or at outer iris if your forehead is narrow and you prefer extra softness. Length next. Let the center skim between upper brow and mid-brow. Allow the wings to melt to height cheekbone, tapering toward the jaw hinge so they blend into your layers. Technique matters. Ask your stylist to bevel the center with point cutting, then slide cut the wings so they collapse neatly over glasses. Density is the final dial. Remove a touch of bulk through the midshaft to prevent puff, but keep the perimeter substantial so shine stays intact. If your frames are bold, keep the center a whisper shorter to spotlight the eyes. With delicate frames, let the fringe kiss the top edge. Curly or wavy, cut largely dry and allow for 10–20% shrinkage so the center doesn't spring above the brows. Maintenance stays manageable. Hair grows about ½ inch a month, so a quick fringe dusting every 6 to 8 weeks keeps the split precise without sacrificing length. Daily styling can be under 5 minutes. Missed roots. Add a pea of lightweight mousse. Direct a small round brush down and away from the part, then set the wings in 2 Velcro rollers while you do makeup. Day 2. Press a drop of cream through the mid-lengths and skip oils at the root to preserve lift. For my own mirror at 67, I kept my length but added a soft, bottleneck-style curtain fringe starting at the high cheekbone. My forehead lines blurred, my eyes looked brighter in photos, and I stopped over-styling because the fringe did the face framing for me. Marcia, 63, swore bangs were too much work until we tried a gentle curtain. She looked instantly fresher, and her routine got simpler, not harder. Your quick check. Should your center skim the brow or sit just above? Do the wings need to clear your frames or kiss them? When you pinch lift the crown, does your whole face look more awake? Next, we'll add movement through the rest of your cut so the fringe blends seamlessly. Secret number 11. Avoid one-length hair. Movement is youth. One-length hair is the fastest way to flatten your face after 60. A single, heavy baseline concentrates weight at the hem, so hair falls like a curtain, exaggerates volume loss at the crown, and drags the eye downward. Movement restores youth because it changes the geometry. Strategic layers break up bulk at the ends, redirect lift to the midshaft and crown, and create dimension so attention lands on your eyes and cheekbones, not the line of your haircut. If your part looks wider under bright light or your ponytail feels smaller than it did a few years ago, that's common. Roughly 30 million American women live with hereditary thinning, and about 4 in 10 notice visible loss by 50. You don't need a dramatic chop. You need controlled softness. For my own mirror at 67, I retired a safe, one length that photographed dents at the jaw and limp at the crown. We added cheekbone skimming face framing, a featherlight veil of interior layers for height, and a micro-graduated nape. Instantly, my lower face looked lighter, my neck read longer, and even my makeup looked more intentional. My sister Susan held onto her single length until 65. We kept her hair long, but introduced soft layers around the temples and jaw. Her text the next morning, "I look like myself, just rested. Here's how to brief the chair like a pro. Ask for front-focused layering calibrated to your density, more at the temples if glasses compete with hair, less if your hairline is delicate. Place interior, lift a fingertip forward of the crown so height reads natural, not teased. Keep the perimeter substantial, not wispy, so ends look polished and the cut grows out cleanly. If humidity makes your silver expand, request subtle debulking through the midshaft. If your crown collapses by noon, shift the part slightly off-center and concentrate elevation just ahead of the apex. At home, think light and directional. A small dollop of root mousse, a nozzle parallel blow-dry, never blasting from underneath, and a wide barrel bend through the mid-lengths, leaving the last inch looser so it never looks set. Quick mirror audit. Where do you need lift most? Crown, temples, or jaw? Do photos show a heavy horizontal at the hem? Would cheekbone-level face framing balance your frames better than an even baseline? If you could change just one area today, which would make the biggest difference? Smooth transition to what's next. We'll layer in a curtain fringe to extend that lift across the midface and keep the whole silhouette buoyant. Secret number 12, the textured bob. Personality and structure. The textured bob is a cropped, ear-to-jaw silhouette with a clean outline and airy interior work that builds lift and personality without bulk. Shortening the length and adding controlled texture shifts weight upward toward the cheekbones and crown, so fine or naturally wavy hair reads fuller and more intentional. Think crisp perimeter plus movement through the mid-shaft. The eye goes to your eyes and bone structure, not a heavy hem. It's a confidence booster because shorter lines sculpt the face, light texture adds bounce, and the cut invites play, sleek today, tousled tomorrow, or a subtle bend for polish. For my own mirror at 67, I left a safe collarbone bob for a true textured crop, baseline at mid-jaw, micro-graduated nape, and cheekbone skimming face framing. My jaw looked cleaner, my neck longer, and styling time dropped because the shape finally cooperated with my texture. My silver looked brighter, too. The defined edge reflected light while diffused texture kept wiry strands from puffing at the sides. Yvonne, 70, told me the same after her switch. This is the first time my hair says who I am. A little edge goes a long way at any age. Brief the chair like a pro. Ask for a firm perimeter softened with point cutting, never wispy. Interior texture focused through the midshaft, and lift placed a fingertip forward of the crown so height reads natural. Keep the nape slightly graduated to lengthen the neck. If you're dense behind the ears, request targeted debulking there. If your hairline is delicate, avoid thinning within the front half-inch so edges stay polished. Glasses wearers usually look brightest when the face frame just kisses the top of the frame. Bold frames often pair best with a slightly shorter fringe to keep the eyes the focus. Styling stays minimal and modern. Work a nickel-size amount of lightweight mousse at the roots, blow dry with the nozzle parallel to the hair, never blasting from underneath, then add a quick mid-length bend with a wide barrel iron or by flat trapping over a round brush. Wavy textures love a diffuser on low airflow. Stop at about 80% dry and let the last inch air set for a lived-in finish. Day 2, revive with a water mist and a pea of cream pressed through the middle. Plan trims every 6 to 8 weeks. Hair grows roughly half an inch per month, so the line stays crisp while texture remains airy. Your quick audit. Do you want a tighter nape for definition or a touch more top length for lift? Should your face frame graze your glasses or clear them? Is humidity your nemesis or is it midday collapse? Smooth transition next. We'll layer in color placement, subtle highlights and lowlights, to amplify texture without sacrificing depth. Secret number 13. The iconic volumized layered cut, ageless energy. The iconic volumized layered cut is architecture, not fluff. Balanced layers that place lift at the crown, direct movement through the mid-lengths, and keep the perimeter substantial so the ends don't go see-through. When height lives near the roots, the eye travels up, features read lifted, the jaw looks lighter, and photos look fresher without extra makeup. This shape suits fine, silver, or simply tired hair because it redistributes weight from the hem to the places that matter most, just forward of the crown and around the eyes and cheekbones. Think airy interior layers, not choppy, and a softly broken but polished perimeter so the cut grows out cleanly between appointments. For my own mirror at 67, I stopped backcombing and asked for crown-friendly interior layers, placed a fingertip ahead of the apex, plus a face frame that starts at high cheekbone. My midface brightened instantly, blow-dry time dropped, and I retired the teasing brush. Annette, 69, was a devoted teaser. Once we refined her layers and tightened the perimeter, she got the same daily lift with half the effort and none of the damage. For maintenance, remember hair grows about ½ inch a month. Trims every 6 to 8 weeks keep layers balanced, and a quick fringe or crown, dusting, can refresh lift without losing length. Style smart, not hard. Start with a golf ball of lightweight mousse or a mist of root-lifting spray at the scalp and a pea of cream through the mid-lengths. Blow dry with the nozzle parallel to the hair, never blasting from underneath, until you're 80–90% dry. Set 2 large Velcro rollers right behind the hairline and 1 at the crown while you do makeup for 10–15 minutes. Cool. Release, then add a soft bend through the middle with a wide barrel, leaving the last inch looser so it never looks set. Flip your part a ½ inch for instant altitude. If humidity puffs your silver, ask your stylist for subtle debulking through the midshaft. If your crown collapses by noon, concentrate elevation just forward of the apex and consider a micro-graduated nape for built-in support. Skip heavy oils at the root. Finish with a light mist of workable hairspray or a touch of dry texture spray only where you want hold. Quick self-audit. Where do you lose volume first? Crown, temples, or just behind the part? Do photos show a heavy horizontal at the hem or flatness above the brows? Would a whisper more length at the front visually slim your jaw? Or does an even baseline serve you better? Next, we'll echo this lift with soft highlight placement so cut and color amplify each other. Secret number 14. The secret of self-acceptance. The most ageless cut. The most timeless cut is the one that honors who you are today. Self-acceptance is not a slogan, it's a styling principle. When you choose shape, length, and texture that serve your current hair, rather than a decade-old ideal, everything else gets easier. The blow-dry, the photos, the way your features read. And you are not alone if your hair has changed. Hereditary thinning touches roughly 30 million women in the U.S., and more than half of women will notice some degree of hair loss in their lifetime. Those numbers don't diminish beauty, they normalize it and free you to pick a look that lifts your face and your spirit. There's real psychology behind why this works. Research linking self-compassion with positive body image shows that treating yourself with the same kindness you'd give a friend improves satisfaction with appearance and dampens the urge to fix yourself into a trend. Translation. When you stop warring with the mirror, you make better, more flattering choices, hair included. For my own mirror at 67, I spent years trying to recreate the heavy, all-one-length hair I wore at 50. It photographed stern and made my jaw look weighty. The day I chose what suits me now, a collarbone cut with interior lift and a soft, bottleneck fringe, my face looked brighter and my routine got simpler. That shift wasn't about chasing youth, it was about accepting my texture, my silver, my life. Clients feel it too. Yvonne at 70 told me, "This is the first time my hair says who I am," and her posture changed before the cut was even finished. A few gentle guardrails help self-acceptance translate into great hair. Pick a silhouette that places volume high, crown, and cheekbones instead of at the hem. Keep edges substantial so silver looks intentional, and favor movement over weight. If your part looks wider or your ponytail feels smaller, that's common, and a nudge toward shape that lifts rather than drags. Your turn, quick check-ins for the chair. Which feature do you want your hair to frame first? Eyes, cheekbones, or jaw? Where does your hair collapse by noon, crown, temples, or ends? Do glasses call for a fringe that kisses the frame or clears it? If you changed just one thing today, length, perimeter strength, or fringe, which would change how you feel the most? One last practical note. Hair evolves and so will your preferences. A small tweak every few months is enough to keep the shape aligned with the woman you are right now. Because confidence, not centimeters, is the most ageless look you can wear. Here's the take-home: you don't need a new face, just a smarter shape. Let go of habits that weighed you down and choose movement, softness, and lift that work with your features. The right layers, texture, and a thoughtful fringe don't just refresh your hair, they lift your spirit. Now it's your turn. Which cut is calling your name? Tell me in the comments, and if you've got a before and after, share it so another woman can see what's possible. If this guide helped you see yourself more clearly, tap like, subscribe to Golden After 60, and ring the bell so you never miss the weekly edits that make getting ready easier and more joyful. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Your trust means everything. Remember, style isn't about age, it's a mindset. You are elegant, you are wise, and your best looks are ahead. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take good care, stay confident, and wear your golden years with pride.